great to have you here. Chris Kelly here. There's Chris Demm right there.
Hi.
That's my best friend in the whole world, isn't he?
Howdy.
My best friend in the whole world.
It always throws me off when you say that.
You know,
Me too.
I'll tell you. I was walking across the parking lot today, too. I thought, you know what? Let's make a memory today. You and me. I don't know what it's going to be.
A memory.
I don't know what it's going to be, but we're going to make a memory in here today.
I hope I don't fall.
Your CPR training?
Yeah, I was going to say. My memories of late have not been real good ones.
Something's going to happen in here today. We're going to make a memory. That's how it's going to be. I want us to get closer. You know, I want us to get tighter. Before we go off on our journey, our Two Guys Named Chris Comedy All-Star Tour is starting up.
Yeah, the first weekend is coming up.
We're going to be together so much. It's going to be so great.
Believe me, I've been thinking that.
I know. I'm so
God,
excited.
we're going to be together so much.
You know.
3 separate cars. No joint meals.
I'm not going to
No,
travel with you.
God,
I'm
no.
not going to travel with you. But I'll see you backstage at these bad boys. I'll tell you that. We'll be back there.
This is one of those times where people be like, I bet you guys just hang out all the time. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, you have no idea.
I was just saying, you know Barry up in HR. We've talked
Sure.
about
Oh, yeah.
him before, and great guy. Loves classic rock music. Loves it. Has a love of it more than anybody, except maybe Chris Demm that I've ever met. You know,
But his devotion to the genre, if I may,
yes,
is so pure that when Chris Kelly and I concocted the Biggie's Heart montage,
yeah, right.
we sent it to Barry and said, hey, can you identify these songs? I figured he'd be able to do it.
Well, he wanted it. He's like, send it to me. I'm
Yeah.
in. I want to. He wanted to name the songs and the artists.
He missed a couple, but he missed like the top 40 ones. All he knew was the rock songs.
He missed Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On, and he missed a Phil Collins song.
And a Roxette song.
And a Roxette song.
And a T'Pau song.
Okay. And when we said, this is T'Pau, he's like, I don't care.
Nope.
I don't care about it.
I don't care.
What do I care?
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, what about this one from Titanic? This was such an enormous. I don't see Titanic. I won't see. I don't care anything about it.
He is a purist.
Now, I told you about. Now, we go to the same gym now. I got him turned on to the gym.
Oh, believe me, I've become aware of this. It's becoming a ritual
I know.
in the office.
I know. He will come in and say, because I'll look ahead. That's why I go to Reddit. You know, I go and see, because this gym, they do an hour class and they make you do treadmill, some the dry rower, and then some weight work. And I'll tell you, the reason I like it is that you can really put in as much as you want. You can make it really hard, really go hard if you want to. And also, I think as a person of my age, they do a nice job. They have a lot of balance exercise. They're supposed to improve your balance. So with age, we don't worry about falling as much. And it's something I have to think about, as you get older. And so when Barry comes into the office, sometimes he'll say, what do we got today?
Because he knows you've already looked. When do you make the look? When do you check?
You look early.
As soon as your feet hit the floor?
The night before. I looked the night before.
That's right. You go to
That's insane.
You go to the Australian part and find out what they did that day.
There's a guy in Australia.
I might.
Now, every
White wick, dry rabbit.
Howdy.
every one of these gyms in the world, and there are some overseas, do the same workout. And it's always like, and you really want to know what it is, because sometimes it's like, it shouldn't
need to know?
It shouldn't even matter, because I'm going to go no matter what. But I do like to see it and go, okay, I've got to prepare for this today. This is coming up. And so they'll tell you, okay, if you're on the treadmill, you're going to be on hills, or it's going to be a long run, stuff like that. And then he breaks down. The guy in Australia has a great memory.
You ever reach out and thank him?
A lot of people do. I never do.
No, you're a watcher. We know that.
Big time.
You don't interact. You just watch.
Never. I'm what do you call
voyeur.
It? Voyeur.
Yeah.
Lurker, yeah.
Many people say, and a lot of people say, thank you, my friend from the future, because they're 17 hours ahead. So he'll do the workout at 7 a.m. Australia time. So by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we've got it.
Does he ever prank you on April 1st?
No, he never. No. That would be against the code of the Redditor. He will not do that.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, I got kicked off Reddit for another 24 hours last week. Put in Reddit jail. You know why?
Underage?
No.
Boot?
No.
Did you post your mirror selfie?
Yeah.
No, but that was the last time that got me kicked off for 48 hours. They put me in Reddit jail. They were like, you've done this before. We know this. This woman was on there complaining that somebody sweated on her, perspired on her in the gym. And all these people below her were like, oh my gosh, that's so terrible. And oh, you know. Gross. So you know what I wrote? I wrote, yeah, sweetheart, it's a gym. People sweat. What?
Ooh.
Bing! Reddit jail.
You're done.
You're done. 24 hours. Can't look. It was all
Male aggression.
Exactly.
Well, we all know you're a sweater.
Well, I felt like it was a personal attack.
Yeah.
I will sling that sweat. I mean, I'm the worst offender at that. And she wrote this long, like 3-paragraph thing. Like, it's so inconsiderate. There's sweat. I'm like, what do you want? We're all running. What do you want in there, you know? All right.
We can all be Barbie.
Yeah, exactly. So Barry comes in. He'll say, what do we got on the, what do we got today? And so yesterday.
And you whip out your phone.
I look at it.
And you go through painstaking
painstaking
detail. And I'm watching Barry's face. And in his head, he's just like singing Doobie Brothers songs.
He doesn't.
He asked, but he's not listed. Yeah.
Because every time I look over at him, he's doing, like I said yesterday, all right, you have to.
We're doing balance work.
Balance work. You're standing on, you go up on a bench on one foot with a weight in the other hand and then back down, for toe tap for 10. He goes, I ain't going to do that. When they got me in there, he goes, when they got me in there 1 foot in there, you think I'm going to do that?
He just wanders off and does his own thing.
He takes a couple of barbell or dumbbells and starts curling them. He goes, I just do some curls. He should have the best
I like
biceps
that.
in
best
the building.
biceps there is because he just does them all. Well, yesterday, Coach Kathy called him out and said, Barry, join us. Let's go.
Put down the dumbbells.
Put down the dumbbells, do the exercise. I mean,
Join the class.
Yeah, she's like,
Did you feel awkward because you're between two friends?
Yeah.
Because you don't want Barry to think you're not cool.
I know, right?
but Coach Kathy is Coach Kathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to HR Barry, you can look at him and kind of roll your eyes. Like,
Right.
Yeah,
you know, right?
Yeah. But then Coach
And then
Kathy.
Coach Kathy, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I told him we needed a balance.
Between a rock and a hard place.
And I'm always trying to
Oh, you
please
play
everybody.
both sides,
Right,
yeah.
play both sides like usual, And,
Placate everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Make no one mad.
Exactly.
Like out in the parking lot with Barry, he'd be like, yeah, you know her, ball breaker. But then after Barry left, you'd run back inside and be like, I'm so sorry for his attitude.
I tried to tell him we'd be doing balance work on 1 foot. I did.
I told him earlier because I look at the Australian Reddit. You what? Nothing.
I never admit that. I never admit because they like to surprise you with it. They like it to be a surprise.
Must you control literally everything in your life?
Yes. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
But here's the whole point with Barry loves classic rock music. He loves like REO Speedwagon and
Journey.
Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times at the gym, there'll be more current day music, hip hop and, pop songs, which I also enjoy. I like that too. But then some days they'll throw back and you'll hear a bunch of like 70s and 80s stuff on there, which I really like, but they'll always throw in like an extra beat to it, which I believe I've told you. You know how that goes.
Yeah, the gym mix.
The gym mix. And so about a week and a half ago, they were playing, I believe it was Summer of '69 by Bryan Adams. And it was a lot of like classic rock and stuff from the 80s and 70s. But with every one of them, there was some sort of beat. And Barry just walked by me, and I thought to my head, I was like, well, he must be loving this because I know how much he loves the classic rock. He walked by me to get some water, and he goes, you believe how they're screwing up these songs?
Yeah.
Summer of '69 with this
The
kind
dance
of
beat?
Dance beat.
No,
You
yeah.
can't have this. I was
He's
like,
not.
Of
Yeah.
course, there I am. Like, you're right, Barry.
Absolutely.
I hate it too, brother.
Bryan Adams need to be appreciated as the pure artist that he is. Not adding over it.
Exactly. So, yesterday, Coach Kathy had sent out an email to a bunch of us. We're doing a little challenge right now, and I'm on her team. The coaches each have teams. And she said, we just won a challenge. And she goes, as a reward, I'm making a playlist. Everybody request a song. And on Monday, we'll have all the. So I was like, oh, great. Okay, great. And so I requested Barry's favorite song, Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones. All right. He just said how much he loves Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones. So I wrote back, Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones. And Kathy was like, great choice. So about halfway through it, start me up place. Well, I knew that this would be just a regular because she's putting this together herself. It's just songs, you know. And so I look over at Barry and I was like, yeah. And he goes, let's see how they butcher this one.
But I requested this
for you.
For you, buddy.
They'll find a way to butcher it. I can't even be around this. But they didn't. I said,
They played it straight?
They played it straight.
Pure.
But pure Rolling Stones. But I never got a chance, to later talk to him about it.
Well, he might appreciate it later, or now that he knows.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope that's true. But Barry's really catching on, and he says he wants to go more often now. He says he wants to join on a higher level and go more often. So the point is, I love to spend time and get closer with Barry and with Biggie, and we're going to be spending so much time together. Let's make a memory. Let's make a memory.
Yeah.
We want
to be something.
There was a P1 listener who said to me, in fact, his name is Tyler, and he sent me a video of myself on Wheel of Fortune. This happened many years ago. I know. And he had just discovered it.
That's the late 90s?
That was 97. Yes. So late 90s. And I was on Wheel of Fortune. Golly, what is that? Almost 30 years ago. Jeez, that hurts. 28 years ago. You think at the time, you're like, oh my God, it's just, and then the time just goes.
Yeah.
But Tyler sent and said, I'd never seen this. This is really cool. It was on YouTube. And, I looked at myself with that eye that I had. Yeah, it was too pudgy. I was too puffy on it. My suit wasn't right. Tyler commented on the suit. And then later he said, Tyler, as we exchanged a couple of emails, he said, I cannot wait to listen to your show tomorrow. And I wrote back, why?
Why? What have you heard from Australia?
I don't know.
They've already heard it. They've already heard the show.
That's right. The guy in Australia is probably like, this is a bad one.
This is a terrible show. They said they were going to make a memory, but
yeah.
Now a memory's made whatsoever.
I don't know if the cameras are on or not.
Yeah. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard about it today.
Okay, because I know we record,
they're on. Yeah, they're on.
If this somehow makes it to YouTube, you should watch all of our faces as you say, I can't wait to listen to your show tomorrow. Because all of us at the same time, we're like,
why? I wrote back, why? What?
Yeah.
And I didn't hear back.
Did you know something I don't?
Yeah.
I know. What do you know? By the way, the guy in Australia is on a 2-week cruise as of tomorrow. So
no gym report?
No gym report for 2 weeks. But what usually happens is somebody gets up early in New York, and they'll put it in as best they can, but nobody has the memory of this guy in Australia. This guy is unbelievable. And he rates it. He's like, it's this hard. It's like a 1 to 5 scale on how difficult it is. So I know.
What would you say if you ever met this man? That'd be kind of an interesting quest.
I'd tell him thank you. I'd just say, and I'd put my arms around him. I'd say, come on, let's make a memory in here. Let's go.
This is crazy. Just speaking of Australia, this is just kind of a little throwaway nothing. But if you're of a certain age, you might remember the name Paul Hogan.
Oh yes.
One of the most popular Australians for the time in the 70s, 80s, and maybe into the 90s. He was Crocodile Dundee.
Him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and he had a variety comedy show in his native Australia that I would watch.
Oh, really?
Kind of like the Benny Hill Show. It was like a 30-minute sketch show. He was funny.
Yeah.
He was a funny guy. Very Australian.
Pre-Crocodile Dundee.
Pre-Crocodile Dundee.
Okay, so I only knew him. I knew him first in Crocodile Dundee.
Of course.
Yes, right.
Yeah, I mean, that made him an international star.
Right, yeah.
Well, he was also, back then, he was kind of the face of Australian tourism. And he is the first person, I think, to my knowledge, to ever say, we'll throw another shrimp on the Barbie for you.
Yes. And
that was Australian
that was
tourism
his thing,
slogan.
and that was I guess did they give it to him as an Australian tourist thing, or was that just his thing and they took it and ran with it? I bet it was his.
He probably came up with the phrase.
Bet so too.
And he became the face of Australian tourism. I'm sure it worked. My brother went. One of my brothers went to Australia.
Oh, because of that?
Yeah. And so recently, he's aged now. I can't remember how old Hogan is now, but somebody caught up with him and said, here in Australia, Paul, we don't call them shrimps. We call them prawns.
Oh, he said it.
And then Hoax, he said, I've always said to the people, said, look, I didn't make the ad for you.
Right. Well, right.
I made the ads for Americans. I made the ads for Europeans.
Yeah.
Totally right. It's totally right.
I nailed it.
Yeah, because if he says throw another prawn on the Barbie, we're not going to care about that. It's a shrimp, right? I mean, for
shrimp
us,
on the Barbie.
Oh, that makes sense.
And that became part of the pop culture.
Oh, I remember, and I always
for years
from young age I have wanted to go to Australia. I haven't, and never will. But that was something that's inviting to me to Australia. I've heard people that go people always say Africa is the best trip. I've mentioned that. Everybody that comes back from Africa says that's an incredible trip.
Yeah.
Where would you rate the places that you'll never go?
Africa's number
Places you
one.
don't want to ever go, but might
I think
talk about.
Well, Africa's number one.
For me, it's Tokyo.
Yep. Those are great places we'll never go.
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Tokyo.
Mount Rushmore, places you know you'll never go.
Yeah.
Okay, Africa, Australia,
Tokyo.
Tokyo.
Yeah, Japan. Well, Tokyo. I want to
Yeah.
go to Tokyo specifically.
Oh, and the Great Pyramids. I'll never.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
my
Great
God.
Pyramids
What
are
a
up there.
list.
This is great. Mount Rushmore of places we'll never go. I love
Yeah.
that. I love it.
You could probably put Canada and Mexico for me now because I don't think I'm going to either of those either.
Probably, but I think the others out. I mean,
Yeah.
Tokyo.
You could
and-
probably list some of the states I'll never
Oh,
go to again.
Yeah. We can put those up
Yeah.
there too. There's plenty. We need more than a Mount Rushmore for that. There's a ton of those. Another couple of notes here. Speaking of, this is like tourism stuff. Today, Chris Demm and I saw on the news that flower that stinks really badly, the corpse flower, is blooming again. This is like the time.
Yeah, it happens every winter.
Yeah. And I guess it's in Brooklyn. People line up to go and get a big sniff of this flower that smells like rotting flesh. I mean, it smells
That's what they say.
so bad. I've never smelled it.
One news anchor said it was like standing behind a garbage truck times 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's
You
that
know that
bad.
smell.
And people line up to get close to it to smell it.
And this year, I don't know if they've always done it, but this year I've seen videos of people lining up to sniff this corpse flower that smells like rotting flesh and garbage.
Yes.
And they're wafting the aroma toward their nose.
Yes,
with their hands.
That's right. They
On video.
They want it. They don't want to somehow like collect it and take it home. That's and I just thought to myself, why do we do this? Why do you want to smell? You could go behind a garbage truck. If you got behind a garbage
There's a
truck.
garbage truck outside your house probably in the next day or
Yes.
two.
And when you get behind one in the summer, you're just like, oh my God, this is awful.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Let me tell you what it is that they would say.
Yeah.
It's an experience.
It's an experience. That's what Chris Demm told
That's what we all
Mhm.
want now is it's
wanna
an experience.
me.
Yeah, because it's kind of rare. It only happens once a year.
Yeah.
And it's not like the same as a roller coaster, but it's controlled
Yeah.
chaos.
You're not going to get hurt.
Yeah, you know you're probably going to climb off the roller coaster at the end of it.
Most of us do.
Or scary movies.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like you'll never understand the Sphere in Vegas.
Oh, I don't care anything about this.
You don't care anything, but people go because the experience.
Because
Well-
there's nothing like it.
That's right. It's one of a kind. There's nothing like it, or very few things. So that flower, I guess, even though it's this, but roller coasters give you a thrill, and the Sphere, of course, has the video and audio component of it. It makes you have this incredible feeling. Why? I mean, a terrible smell. What does that do for you? It's like, why? We can all smell something terrible every day if we wanted to.
Well, I mean, maybe it's not the same, but how many people do you know that say, I like spicy food? It's hot.
Oh, I love it. A lot of people.
Well, people will
A lot
challenge
of
themselves. It's
go
It's
spicier.
a self-challenge.
And it's painful, they
Yeah.
spice it up.
I beat it.
I used to try to do that until finally I just was like,
I'm mild salsa.
I'm mild.
Where's the jar with the green label?
I bought Paul Newman.
He called you mild
Well, I am. I'm missionary sex.
Yep.
I'm mild salsa. I'm vanilla ice cream.
Yeah. You drive a minivan. You are your van.
I am my van.
He just created a memory for today.
That's right.
I'll never forget where I was when he called you mild salsa.
Yeah.
That's what I
All
am.
right.
I am. I will not fight it. I am what I am.
Yeah.
I'm going to put as a non-negotiable this year. I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to fight that. I'm just going to tell you, I was in the grocery store a month ago with my app that tells you how healthy things are.
Kooky?
No. Now I've forgotten the name. I forgot the name. Zuki.
Hungry?
Hungry. No, it's not hungry. It's oh man, what is it? I just Yuka, my Yuka app. And I was standing going through salsa after salsa after salsa. And the Paul Newman mild was perfect for my palate. And I got it home, and I have to tell you, that's the best salsa.
It's so spicy.
So wonderful.
Is he wearing a big sombrero on the
He
label?
is. He is. Paul Newman salsa is delightful. The extra mild, it's like tomato sauce is all it is. It doesn't even have, hardly has a pepper in it.
It's like chunky ketchup.
Yeah, it's like chunky
We
ketchup.
dipped a jalapeno in it and pulled it back out.
We waved it over the jar on the assembly line. Already sealed, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you don't want
You don't want
No,
anything
yeah.
getting into
you don't want to chance it.
the salsa.
We can't have like a seed drop into it or anything. That's the best salsa. I love it. Extra, extra mild. That's what I am. So I don't understand this sphere thing, or and I'll never see the sphere or anything like that.
No.
I don't want that feeling. We just made a memory.
Mhm.
I love it.
Big time.
I love that
Yeah.
we make. That's what we do on this program. You know, we make memories. That's how it works. Now,
Let's hope Tyler didn't hear that. That whole,
diatribe. That diatribe. There now. Coming up here on the Two Guys Named Chris show. I told Chris Demm before this program, Pete is at it again. And then I told him what they're trying to do. And his response was, who cares?
Did I say that?
All right.
It's about memories
It's
today.
about memories.